Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Pop Review. I'm Sean.
I'm Alex.
And today we're talking about Avengers EndGame.
Indeed, it is the end game.
Yes.
And
I mean...
this is a spoiler review.
Yes, I can't stress this enough. This is a spoiler review. Please, well, go watch the movie.
And then come back.
And then come back
and then we'll talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so you can... I don't want to spoil this for literally one soul. I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody.
That's really nice of you.
Like, literally...
So thoughtful.
Like, after seeing it, after walking out the theater, I made sure to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like the Homer Simpson, talking about Empire Strikes Back when people are waiting in line and they're like spoiling it for people. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So please, this is a spoiler review.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about everything that happened in the movie.
Everything.
Can't make that clear.
The end game.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom in the middle of the film, and another screening had just gotten out when I was in the bathroom, and people are talking about it, and I'm like, la 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 la. Yeah.
Which Alex did very well. She only had to go to the bathroom once.
I really thought I was going to have to go like 3 or 4 times. But...
And you picked a perfect time to use the bathroom. I couldn't stress that enough.
I did.
She literally, she's like, oh, I can't do it anymore. She ran out and came right back. I was like, you literally missed nothing.
I did. I kind of sensed, how the scene was going to go, but...
Anyway.
Right.
Well, with that out of the way, spoiler review. Can't stress that enough. What are your initial thoughts about EndGame?
So I only saw it once. I just want to start by saying this is going to be a film that will benefit you if you see it more than one time.
1,000% agree.
Yeah, so with that said, I gotta say I was a little underwhelmed. And I can go into detail about that when we talk about it a little bit more. I would say I liked the movie, but it didn't quite live up to my personal expectations.
I mean,
it's complicated. There's a lot to unpack here.
It is complicated. I don't want to use the word underwhelmed, but it didn't, walking out of the theater after seeing Endgame, it wasn't the same as walking out after Infinity War.
I would totally agree
Infinity
with that.
War,
that's a good way to that's a good way
gave you more of a gut punch, not just of what happened, but just the way the story was told.
Yes.
I think now, if you want to say, hey guys, it's pretty much one long movie, I'll give you that, because you can literally watch Infinity War and Endgame back to back, and it is literally just one long movie, but in all sense of purposes, it is 2 different movies. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like, because I feel that way because Endgame had a lot to do. I mean, it is 3 hours long. It had to be 3 hours long. It had a lot to do, and it just took a long time to get there, which I'm not saying was a bad thing. It just took a long time to, get to the meat of it.
Yeah, there were moments where it did feel long.
Yeah.
Then there were some where I was like, oh, that flew by, but there were moments where I was sitting there and I was like, wow, yeah, this is a long movie.
like them just figuring out how to get, when Scott Lang came out and they figuring things out, it took a while, and that part, again, I'm not criticizing the movie, don't get me wrong, I love the movie, it's just the fact that I think Infinity War, 5 years from now, will leave have a lasting gut punch of a feel. Yes. I mean, obviously, Endgame has more ramifications going forward because it's part 2 of the 2 movies. But I just think Endgame was just more. Infinity War was just more of a.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just I had a better, even better feeling is the wrong way of putting it. I just had more of a. Reaction, reaction of wonder and of awe of oh my god, that just happened. I mean, a lot of things in Endgame, if you watch a prediction of it, we got right. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it didn't surprise me. The fact that
I think that was part of it.
Maybe part of that is the fact too, and then that's just us watching a lot of movies and you can kind of piece things together, but. I don't know. Yeah. I just think Endgame was great, but if I had to say one is better than the other, I would say Infinity War is better.
I think we're in agreement on that. I think that is somewhat of a general consensus. I kind of poked around on the internet last night because I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, neither could I.
Home from the theater, I was like, what did I just watch? So I'm poking around in some articles, and I think that kind of is the general consensus with a lot of people that look at this stuff critically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, for a 3-hour, but again, let's give the movie some kudos. For a 3-hour movie, that need to be 3-hour movie, it had a lot of things to answer considering how Infinity War left off. So it had to answer all that stuff. It had to, and it had to set up where things may go down the road, which we'll talk about as well. So it had a lot of work to do. But considering that, I mean, it had more work to do than Infinity War did. And I think Infinity War benefits from that. It just set a lot of things up, and Endgame has to pay it off. Mm-hmm. So not only pay it off, but then set things up for going forward. So I think Endgame had a lot more work to do. And so it did justify its 3-hour runtime. So I just think maybe for that reason, that's why we feel the way we do, and obviously we're not alone in that fact. And maybe I'm sure there's a lot of you that say, "No, you guys are wrong. I love Endgame more than Infinity War," and you're right to think that. It's your opinion, and you wouldn't be wrong to feel that way. I can totally see some people saying that, but I just feel like Infinity War was better. But we're not here to talk about Infinity War.
Right, but another thought just on that front is the viewing experience itself was way more energetic for Infinity War. Like, it was loud and people were screaming and clapping. The girl next to me was sobbing when Loki died. Like, watching Infinity War was just much more of an event. Like, much more of an experience just in terms of, the theater. And Endgame, it was very quiet. Very quiet.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's just because people are trying to figure out what's going on
or just take it all in.
Take it all in, but it definitely didn't have that hype factor that I was really expecting.
I mean, you know what it feels like to me, and this might sum it up. It felt like Infinity War was like the season finale of a great show, and Endgame was the season premiere, where it's like Infinity War is like you watch the entire season. And you get to love these characters, and Endgame just leaves you on this cliffhanger, like, oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god, all this is happening.
That's a good way to put it.
And then Endgame is pretty much a season premiere. We've seen what happened. We pay off everything that happened.
Everything wraps up.
Yeah, everything wraps up, and it kind of sets up the rest of the season, just like a season premiere would do. So that's why it felt like to me walking out of like, all right, a lot of questions got answered that Infinity War set up. And now we get to see what happens next. Mm-hmm. So I think, and that's kind of how a season premiere is supposed to work, and that's how a season finale is supposed to work. So, I mean, if you look at it, that premise, then Endgame did his job. So,
I guess
I don't fault it.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it.
And it is doing very well. So we're recording this the Friday. We saw it Thursday night. It already has broken the Thursday record. It's on pace to do over close to 300 million, which you said it would do 261 when we did our predictions. I said 280. Looks like it's going to blow us both out of the water. So
I was being conservative.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I thought I was being aggressive. Looks like I was conservative too. So the movie's going to do very, very well.
Yes.
It's also doing gangbusters in China, so
yes, of course. We knew that was going to happen.
we knew that was going to happen. So
yeah.
The movie's doing very, very well. But now that we got our initial thoughts out of the way, so what we're going to kind of do is we're going to just kind of talk about it character by character, talk about what we predicted, what was going to happen, and what actually did happen. So let's start with the big one, which is Tony.
Tony.
So we both said in our prediction episode that he would die, and spoiler alert, he did.
He did. We were ready for that. Like I knew, I would have been really surprised if he didn't. I looked there for a little while, like maybe everyone was gonna pull through, and no,
I always knew he was gonna go. The way the movie was playing, like him with his daughter, and like, dude, even when he came on board, he's like, hey. I'm willing to try to do whatever it takes to get everybody back, but I don't want to lose what I have.
Yeah.
I got a family now. I'm content. I don't want to lose that. And it just, he was really willing not to help him at all. Just him remembering Peter just kind of pushed him into the way of, of helping them. But I was never in doubt that he was going to die. But even when he did, the theater got so quiet. You can hear a pin drop.
I was just going to say that. I think there was one girl who was crying a little bit in the front. But.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of sniffles, you can hear that. But for the most part, it was quiet.
Yeah.
And like, but even though I knew it was gonna happen, it's still, you still feel something when it does, because you know, like, all right, he's gone and he's not coming back. It's not like, is he? Maybe, possibly. And he's gone.
Yeah. And, you know,
so it was still poetic. A moment.
Yeah.
It was still a moment, but it was something that we predicted that was happening. We got it right. But I still love, like, Robert Downey Jr. was great in the movie. I love the way that, you know, his character was pretty much just like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna help you guys. You guys, you know, I'm cool with it. Like, I got my kid. I'm not gonna do anything. I can live with it. Yeah. You know, he got lucky in the sense that Pepper, it was okay. His daughter's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Pepper said.
Yeah.
She's like, we got lucky.
We got lucky. So
you know, a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't, and Tony was okay with for the most part selling with that.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christ's sake, they lived with it for 5 years.
Yeah.
For 5 years, they had to live with the fact that they failed.
Yeah.
And Tony was content with that for that period of time, for the most part, until he got, you know, they gave him a little bit of hope, and then him seeing that picture of Peter just like kind of like put a fire underneath him, and it's something that he got an itch and he just could not scratch it, and then him just finding the answer, he could not help them at that point.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Tony?
I mean, he's my favorite character. I just love his cynicism, his sarcasm. You know, a little bit self-serving in a way, but like, you know, still can't help himself. Like he's like, I guess I am a better person than I want to be. Yeah. You know, like he can't, like you said, fight that urge. He has to scratch that itch of wanting to help people. Mm-hmm. So he really is an interesting character, and has made quite a, you know, some growth, obviously, in the last 10 years, over the last however many movies. And so it was really sad to see him go, because he's my favorite. Like, I just love him, and I feel that it's not going to be the same without him, obviously.
It really is not going to be the same. I mean, trust me, we're going to miss him. I think Marvel will miss him.
Yeah.
I think movie fans in general will miss him.
You can always go back and rewatch.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it goes back to our prediction episode. I thought that he would end up in Spider-Man's suit. Mm. That's still a possibility.
Yeah.
There's also even a possibility of his daughter taking up the mantle at some point, being Ironheart maybe.
Well, it seems like Pepper has her, you know,
her
new
suit.
costume.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know if Gwyneth Paltrow's going to stick around though.
Do you think they would recast? I wonder. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It's maybe, but there even is a more possibility when you look at Tony's funeral scene, and we see all the groups of people. There's this one shot of this one kid by himself.
We don't know who that is, do we?
I found out who that was.
Who is it?
That's the kid from Iron Man 3 that helps Tony. He's just more grown up now. Okay. So it's hard to.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's the same actor. He's just, you know, it's been a while. So is he gonna play a role in maybe picking up the mantle, because the kind of Iron Man 3 kind of set it up that way, and we haven't seen him since then. But for him to be at the funeral, it makes sense for him to be there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they had to pay that actor. You know, they had to block him in the shot. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of work went into just having this one person there at the funeral. So I think you could be right that maybe even if he doesn't become Iron Man, like, you know, it's possible that we'll see this character again in that realm.
And I love the fact that the movie didn't answer that. It just left the door open for any amount of possibilities. We might get no Iron Man. We might Robert Downey Jr. might be done forever. Or he might be in Spider-Man suit. He might be in the new Iron Man suit, or
flashback kind of scenario. Now that we know that time travel exists,
there's tons of possibilities. Exactly, there's tons of possibilities. And one thing I love about EndGame is that it didn't necessarily answer everything. It answered some things that Infinity War set up, but it left the door open, because I was reading some articles. People say like the final Avengers movie. If you think this is the final Avengers movie, you're crazy. This is not the final Avengers movie.
Look at all the money it's made.
Yeah, this is the final Avengers movies as we know the Avengers now. There's gonna be other Avengers movies.
Yeah.
So like, don't get it twisted. This is not the last Avengers movie at all.
Too true.
We're gonna see other Avengers movies. It just won't have Iron Man and Cap and Thor maybe, Hulk maybe, but there's gonna be other Avengers movies. So like, this is the last one. Funny guys.
People,
that's ridiculous. But yes, it is gonna be sad that it's just The fact that message he left post mortem about like talking to his daughter and I love you 3000.
Oh, it's nice.
Like it was just nice to see like him leaving a little bit of a legacy, not only with Pepper but with his daughter. So
yeah, and on like a lighthearted note, like he does, like he just kind of he's a jokester, like cynical. I just love him. I love his character so much, and Robert Downey Jr. is just so great.
Yeah,
so, I mean that's really just my full thought on it, and and you know what I like about it is because he's sort of like this. He uses like his sarcasm to sort of push people away almost. Defense mechanism. It's nice to see him vulnerable.
Yes, it always has been.
And with his daughter, like that was something that I never thought we would see. I just wasn't expecting it, I guess, and it was really nice to see.
Or even at the beginning of the movie when he comes back.
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, we lost. He's like, I'm done. I'm finished. Like, Cap, you weren't there. You should have been there. You weren't there. Like, just him seeing like defeated like that. We've never seen that.
Yeah.
Like, that arrogance was all gone.
Yeah.
Just to see him being completely humbled and broken, and, like, you can see, like, obviously, like, dehydrated.
Rips out
like,
his heart.
Yeah, it's just, like, rips out the Iron Man, so, like, here, you take it. Just to see him like that, which is a great contrast of where we've seen him before.
Yeah.
It's just Robert Downey Jr. just has, like, that character, considering where he was when we first met him in Iron Man, this arrogant prick, making weapons, to like now having a wife and a daughter and like sacrificing himself the way he did.
Yeah.
Like, I am Iron Man and snapping.
That's such a good line.
That
made me really happy.
The movie does so many good callbacks that like I would have to watch it like 3 or 4 times to remember all of them.
Iron Man.
Yeah. So
I just love
like
the delivery on that
it's
line.
gonna be it was great.
Cathartic.
It's just gonna be sad not to see him anymore in this capacity, but
rest in peace.
R.I.P. Iron Man. For now, anyways, let's talk about Thor.
I love that he was fat the whole movie.
Yes.
The whole movie.
The whole movie.
Like, I thought, like, as soon as he, like, called his axe over, that, maybe, like, magic
yeah,
would
or like...
Or something.
Or, like, he would... Yeah, or something like... And he would just, like, no, he was fat the whole time.
Yeah.
And he ended up being fat, too, which is great, because,
I love it.
He's usually the first character to have his shirt off and, like, eye candy for the girls, which is okay. Of course, like... The girls need something to watch, too.
That's true.
But the fact that when we first see him, he's, like, bare gut, and it's, like, long beard, long hair. It's just like, oh, my God. It was
let
like,
himself go.
Hilarious. And just the way he played it, just like a drunken has-been. It's like, I don't care. Yeah, the sunglasses, like, oh, it was great.
Like, I need more alcohol.
Super great.
I don't know.
So we both, so you thought he may or may not die.
Yeah, I thought he could. It could
like go away. Like
it could. Yeah, either he would die or he would go away.
Yeah, go away.
Which I guess.
I thought he would make a new Asgard, not on Earth, somewhere else. He did make it on Earth, and that he would protect the Infinity Stones. Obviously, that wasn't true. So I was kind of right that he went away. I didn't get it right that he went with the Guardians, which we'll get to. And the fact that he's not protecting the stones, which we'll get to. So we both were right that he was alive.
Yeah.
Right?
He was a bit of a loose cannon in terms of, what could happen with
him.
But I'm glad to see him end up with the Asgardians of the galaxy.
Yeah,
because I just love that interaction between him and Star-Lord.
Oh, yeah, so that's
good.
Great. I don't know if we're going to
funny.
get as much as it may appear it we're going to get, but if all we get is what we got in Endgame, that was great. Like, considering what we saw in Infinity War and in Endgame of just their dynamic of like, oh, you're in charge. Yeah, but I'm really in charge. But you're in charge. No, I'm really in charge. Like, just that whole thing. And you thought, it was like, is this going on too long? But like, no, it's going on just enough. It was great. Their comedic timing is great.
Yeah.
And I just love going, I hope to see it move forward, but if it doesn't, I'm comfortable with what we got. Mm-hmm. But just Thor in general, just to see him... Again, another broken man of what happened. Him killing Thanos, you would think that would give him joy, but it didn't, because at the end of the day, he still failed. Mm-hmm. Because he had just kind of like Thanos said in Infinity War, you should have gone for the head. If you would have gone for the head, I wouldn't have snapped and, nothing would have happened. So he did feel like he failed. He thought maybe killing Thanos would have solved that. It didn't. Him having the conversation with his mother was nice because
I
that was
liked
something that always bothered him, that his mother got killed kind of on his watch and he couldn't protect her.
Yeah.
So I love that they brought Rene Russo back for that. That was completely out of left field. I did not expect that to happen.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people back along the way that I didn't expect, which was, great for them.
Yeah,
so
I like the line where she's like, "Eat a salad."
Yeah, that was great too. So,
my mom does that to me too. So it was perfect.
Yeah, you're not as bad off as Thor was.
Well, that's why I wear loose shirts.
No, you're fine. But I just think it's just nice to see his character, and then him having Stormbreaker and Mjolnir at the same time was great.
Yeah.
Didn't see that happening. The dual action was great. And then just him leaving it to Valkyrie, just like, hey, you were pretty much in charge all the time. You're in charge now. The Asgardians. Curious to see what happens with them. Curious what happens with her. Mm-hmm. Going forward, hopefully get to see more of her. I love Valkyrie. And where he goes from here, I mean, if I had to predict, I see him, the Guardians. Obviously, there's gonna be a Guardians Volume 3. When we're gonna get it, we don't know. But I can easily see him starting off with the Guardians and then him just going off on his own and doing his own thing and us leaving Thor behind.
Yeah, it's an interesting character because he's turned very much into a comedic character.
Yes.
Even with Ragnarok, for example, the comedy, and he's just getting really good at that.
Well, I mean, even if you watch Thor 1, there was some comedic, the seeds were planted for him being funny, when he's I like this drink. Another, and there was a lot.
Now he's just full.
But they fully just embraced it. They were just they were teasing at it in Thor and Thor in the Dark World and in the other Avengers movies. But Thor Ragnarok just let's just hug it and make out with it and marry it. That Thor is the hilarious one.
Yeah.
And they just went another step with that in Endgame. And I would love to see him in Guardians 3, even if it's just as a cameo.
It would fit tonally.
I would love to see what James Gunn would do with him. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just for a little while, and then the Guardians go do their own thing and he does his own thing. But even if we don't, if this is Thor's swan song, I like the way he left it because he got a little bit of retribution. His people
left things in good hands.
He left things in good hands with someone who he trusts and cares about.
Closure with his mom, yeah.
Yeah, he got a little bit of closure. Would have liked to see him talk to Loki one more time, considering what did happen to Loki, which we'll get to. But maybe that's a possibility that's still going to be around. Loki's rumored to get his own limited series, so maybe that might be something that happens there. But Thor was just hilarious. Hilarious. And you think they would have made him skinny even towards the end.
I know.
And they didn't.
No.
I just love that they just no, he's fat the whole time.
Yeah.
It's hard great. Just drink it. And I like how Rocco was there's beer on the ship.
What kind?
What kind?
I knew he was going to say that. That's what I said.
It was just, Thor was just so good. But he was pretty much just comedic jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
Even them explaining the ether and with Jane and they got Natalie Portman back again, which I never thought she'd do it again. So a lot of things with him was just comedic timing and was just great.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Cap.
Yeah,
Cap.
Well, we both said he would die.
We both said he would die.
And we were right.
We were right, kind of, yeah.
I don't know if I want to start talking about this now because I had a big problem with the last scene.
Let's talk about it right now.
Let's talk about it now?
Talk about it right now.
Okay, well, why don't you begin and tell me your thoughts first?
I mean, I love
how they handled Captain.
I love how he had a much bigger role in this movie than he did in Infinity War. So he got a lot to do this time around. He fought himself,
True. He did.
which was amazing.
Yeah.
He looked at his own ass. He liked it. That was amazing. The elevator scene, I gotta tell you, was the funniest line in the entire movie. That Hail Hydra thing was hilarious. And if you don't get it, in the comics recently, there was a storyline where he said Hail Hydra in the comics. And that was a huge, oh my God, Captain America would never be part of Hydra. He said Hail Hydra. Oh my God, no. And the whole community exploded. And obviously that wasn't him. But for him to say it, with that happening, And the fact that we know how Hydra turned out in S.H.I.E.L.D. was gold. Was just so perfect. With him being in the elevator with the same people again, like you think like, oh, it's going to play out the same way it did in Winter Soldier. He's going to beat them all up. No, he just said, "Hail Hydra."
Well, hindsight's always 20/20.
It got the biggest pop in the theater. It was great. And obviously to see him see Peggy again, and him holding Mjolnir was...
That was a cool scene.
That was, like, him fighting with Mjolnir was amazing.
I was like, how did he get so good at that?
I mean,
like,
you think, like,
use that thing.
I've been using this... Well, I mean, he's seen Thor use it so long, I guess,
It can't be that easy.
I guess, I mean, no, but I guess
see
maybe...
what he do.
I guess maybe he does. Like, yeah, you've seen Thor do it so many times, and he's using it as a shield so very well. But just the fact to see, like, when his shield got broken and him just, like, looking at Thanos and just, like...
Yeah.
Everybody behind him, and he says, "Avengers, assemble."
And he looked like he was not going to make it out.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to bite it too. And I loved how it ended with him. Like, for me, he got the ending that he, not only they foreshadowed in Age of Ultron, but I think that he deserved.
Can you tell me about the foreshadow? I don't know
because
what you're talking about.
In Age of Ultron, Wanda, Scarlet Witch, showed him a vision, and the vision was him having that dance with Peggy in a ballroom, not in their house like it ended, but he did get the dance.
Interesting.
So that's one of the things he wanted. He's been wanting that forever.
Yeah.
So the fact that he got it, and that was the last shot of the movie, I think it was poetic. I love the fact that he got it, and the fact that his character got to live. He got his cake and ate it too, and the fact that he was still Captain America the entire time, but then another version of him got to be with Peggy. So the world didn't get cheated out of having Captain America, but then Captain America got his happy ending too with Peggy. So everybody won with Cap. So he got to live it out with Peggy, and then he got to pass the torch to Sam, which was nice.
Yeah, I like the passing of the torch. I mean, it's good. Black Captain America.
Yeah.
Love it. I don't know. I had a problem with that for a few reasons. I mean, part of me thought like, oh, that's really nice. But the other part of me, who likes suffering and pain, let's start here.
We're both dead inside.
No, I really like bittersweet. And I really love that moment where he went back to 1970 and sees her but can't do anything, because I just think that's so sad. And I like that.
That was a great moment.
And
we're just like longing to say something, but like, no, I can't.
Yeah, and I wish that is kind of where like they left it. You know, I mean, it is obviously really sweet that they got to have their dance, but also part of me is like, maybe I would have liked it if, you know, it was sort of like when you say goodbye type of thing.
But he didn't. He didn't get this. I mean, because the fact that he never got.
Maybe she was old. You know, got to say goodbye is what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, and like even when you look back on the other movies, she talks about her husband, that she had a husband. We never saw the husband.
Okay, this is what I want to talk about though, because it's not him.
It is him.
It's not him.
It is.
If you look at the timeline though, if you know anything about time travel and the stuff that they set up, they didn't do it correctly.
How so?
Okay. I drew a diagram last night. Like, this is how, like, messed up I was over this scene, because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, let's talk it out.
Okay. So, when it's established that when you go back in time in this universe, the rules for their time travel, if you make a change, you have a different timeline.
Yeah.
You embark on a completely different timeline in a different dimension. So, how... So, one, for if you're looking at it that way, so he goes back in time, has his life with Peggy.
Yes.
How did he get back to be an old man in the current timeline?
He didn't come back. He just stayed.
If you're on a different timeline, you wouldn't be there. You would end up in a completely different timeline.
No. So here's what happened. I mean, we can theorize what happened, but here's what the movie's saying what happened. Like there were two Caps. There was the Cap that we know, and everything happened, and while that was happening, there was the other Cap. Went back in time and lived his life out with Peggy.
But that's not the same timeline.
It has to be.
It's not, though.
But the movie says it has to be.
Well, that's my point, though. So they messed up the time travel. If they're saying that it was the same timeline...
Yeah.
and there was no consequence whatsoever for him doing that in the current timeline,
no,
then it doesn't
because
make
he
sense.
didn't interfere. Because the Cap that went back knew not to interfere with anything. He let everything play out.
That's how it should have worked.
But that's what happened.
Right, but they're saying that every time you go back in time and you like make a small change, then you're on a completely different.
Well, maybe he never made a small change because we never knew who Peggy married. We never knew that. She alluded to having a husband. We didn't know who. Maybe all along it was Tony all the time.
So did he hook up with his own granddaughter then?
Yeah, I guess. But he didn't know that.
Here's the other thing too.
Like he just.
We don't know if they actually got married. We don't know it.
He has the ring.
It doesn't mean that he got married to her though.
Who else?
He went back. I don't know, but they.
It's strongly suggested that it's Peggy. All right, it's Peggy.
It did.
It's Peggy.
But the way they manipulated the times doesn't make sense. Also, just in terms of like, I feel like Captain America would be the type of guy who, if he got to go back in time, would be like, shit, I can stop Hydra now. Like, I can actually do this. Like, it just seemed really out of character for him to go back in time.
But then you really are changing things.
Right.
If all he did was put everything back where it was,
I just think that would be really hard for him.
And then just hook up with Peggy. That's not really changing anything that happens to the rest of the Marvel universe. That's why I think that's why he did it, and it didn't really affect anything the way it did.
So there's two Captain Americas.
Yes.
Where are they?
The other one Cap, the one that went back, is just living out his life with Peggy.
So where's the other one?
Doing everything that we've seen happen.
So where is he in the final scene then?
He closed the loop.
That's not how time travel works.
But it's like that's why
it's possible he's in a time loop, but you can't.
But he did close the loop by by not interfering. He allowed himself to go back in time so that he can live out his life with Peggy. So he closed the loop by not interfering with anything. That's why he didn't show up until he was gone.
My God.
And he knew when he left. So that's why he showed up then.
Well, here's another problem that I have, though, with the time travel. So he went back to return the stones, right?
Yeah, and Mjolnir, too.
How do you return a soul stone? How does that work? Also, he would have to have the one stone in scepter form. He would have to return the Tesseract in cube form. Like, there's, I didn't like that last scene. Like, it raised so many more questions than it gave me answers to. And I was like,
I mean, it's not like we're never this is the last movie of all time. Maybe you do raise up a good point about some of those things, there was like a little bit of that sprinkled throughout the whole thing where I was kind of like, it took me out of it a little bit. Where I was like, wait. I mean, time travel doesn't exist, so it's hard to say how time.
But you still have to follow your own rules that you set up for yourself. True. You know what I mean?
I think
like they didn't
for the
even
most part
explain how the time travel worked. It's
because when it's a rabbit hole, you really don't want to go down too much.
I understand that.
Because you're right. Because once you set the rule up, you have to live by your own rules. So they were kind of vaguey about it. Because then once you say, all right, it's this, just like they reference Back to the Future. Once Back to the Future says, all right, time travel is this, then they have to stick by their own rules.
Right.
So,
and I don't feel like this movie did a perfect job of that.
Well, I'm glad it didn't, because then you're married to it.
Well, What?
You know, I mean, if you say it's this, then it's this, and you can't go against your own rule.
Right.
So I don't think
it should be that way.
Oh, I agree.
You should be able to not.
I agree.
Because that's how it works. You have to follow the own rules that you set up.
I know.
Otherwise, it doesn't work. Like, I know I'm not the only person, because I was looking through a lot of articles about this, and a lot of people have a problem with the Captain America scene because of the time travel rules that they set up. Anyway, we don't have to talk about it anymore, but we can link some of those in the description or something.
Yeah, but that being said, I like the way his character went out, sort of. I mean, he didn't die, but I don't think we're gonna see Cap again. There's really no reason to at this point.
He's an old man.
Yes, he's an old man, but I think him passing the torch and having that dance with Peggy, what else is there for him to do? There's really nothing else. So I really, I love Cap.
It does also seem weird that he would leave the rest of his team hanging.
What do you mean? But he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Where?
Because he's an old man now.
So
he's like, I guess I'm...
But what can he do now? He's an old man.
Well, there's always going to be a fight, though.
Yeah, that's why he passed the shield.
That's what I mean. So it's weird to me that he stayed in the past. Like, it seemed to me like he would want to be Captain America forever.
Yeah,
going forward, because he knows...
Nothing's forever, man. Nothing's forever.
I know that. But Captain America is the type of character that it's like so noble and is like, no, I always have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
We are in this together.
I hear you.
It's till the end of time type of thing. And then he just sort of bails on everyone.
Well, I don't consider it a bail. I just consider it.
But that's exactly what it is.
But I think he's in a position and to have his cake and eat it too, in the sense that his character,
which is a selfish thing, completely selfish thing to do.
No, because Cap still did everything that we know. And he got his life with Peggy.
But going forward.
And, yeah, but...
That's the selfish part.
You're right.
Where it's like...
I hear you.
He should know that this Avengers still there's still going to be a threat. It's not like, oh, well, I saved the world.
You passed the mantle.
I think it was a little against his character, to be honest. It didn't make sense.
You could say that, but I like the decision that he made. So...
I mean, it would have made more sense if they had been building up to him getting, like, really tired of it, you know, like, but it didn't...
He wouldn't be tired of it, though.
He also... Exactly. So he would have stayed and fought instead of going back to, like, have sex with some woman from, like, 1945. Just saying.
Hey...
It was against his character.
Never had sex either, so, I mean, like... Do you blame him?
I just can't believe that's true.
Who would he have sex with?
Literally anyone. He has options.
Like, Black Widow was teasing him that he didn't kiss for a while, so, I mean, just like...
I don't know, maybe he doesn't kiss and tell.
Well, he definitely wouldn't do that, but I just Anyways,
we can move on.
Let's move on. Alright, Black Widow.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
We both didn't see that coming. We both thought she would live, and she would shepherd in the new Avengers. Did not see it coming, and even the movie played with our expectations, because it's setting it up where, alright, Hawkeye's gonna sacrifice himself. I'm like, yep, see this coming, and then no, she does it, and they even go back and forth with it, and
fighting over.
Yeah, like you know, I'm gonna sacrifice. No, I am. No, I am. But even before that, just to see her take that leadership role.
Yeah.
Of like...
So I guess we were right.
We were kind of right that she did kind of... we were right in the sense that she did kind of take over everything during that 5-year period of kind of leading what was left of the Avengers, if you want to even call them at that point, the Avengers, during that 5-year gap of like explaining where everybody is and what everybody's doing and kind of leading in that sense. So I did love that, and I did love the fact that she kind of got Barton back. Into the fold, even though when he was going off in his own thing, and the fact that she was willing to sacrifice herself, and now they brought the Budapest thing again. If her prequel movie does not explain what Budapest means, it's a crime. They mentioned it so many times about Budapest. We need to know what that means now. We have to see it. So Hawkeye needs to be in that prequel movie.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're gonna get a prequel movie. I'm sad that it wouldn't have been like a prequel/sequel movie. I mean, it still could be just not with her in the now part, I guess.
Right.
But I'm sad to see her go.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense though, like, because we see her at the beginning of the film and she's just singularly focused on this one goal.
Yeah.
And, you know, she doesn't really have, the Avengers are her family, you know?
Yes.
So, but she doesn't really have, you know, like a traditional family in a sense. So I can see why she would have wanted to make that choice.
Yeah.
You know? I just didn't expect it.
It was a little weird that her funeral scene was, like, not just, like, kind of glossed over.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a little weird.
We did get a big Iron Man goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, can't compare Iron Man to Black Widow, but, I mean, just them kind of just, like, near the water, just like, she's gone, can't take it back. Hulk throws a bench. Let's move on. I mean, that's kind of the way it was. I mean...
I guess it's just because the fight wasn't over yet, where they kind of were like, they still had to keep their eye on the prize.
I guess, but...
And then, I think, if, like, you know... I guess they can't have a funeral for, like, every character.
No,
you know
but I mean, I think Black Widow is such an important character, and maybe because we're going to see her again, the movie didn't linger on that, and the fact that...
Yeah.
Before, in my mind, one of the reasons you have a 3-hour movie is so that you can long someone, considering when she died in the movie, you can long her character a little bit more so because the movie's so long. But what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't want. Was the movie gonna be 4 hours? I would have still. I've still been watching it if it was 4 hours.
Why not?
But why not? But that was the only thing that kind of irked me a little bit. Just that they were like, nah, she's dead.
Yeah, that's fair.
But other than that, I just again loved her character in the movie. Loved the fact she was taking charge. But one of the things I'm sad that didn't happen was, that fight at the end when all the women were just like taking charge. I wish she was part of that scene.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the end scene when we get to Thanos. But but Black Widow again did not see that coming. No. But what are you gonna do? But I'm glad we're gonna see her again. So yeah. So Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. We thought that obviously she wasn't gonna die. I was thinking more that she would take more of a leadership role in the movie. That didn't happen. You said she wouldn't. That you were kind of right on that. She wasn't in the movie as much as I thought she would be in.
Yeah.
And maybe because she's so damn powerful.
Yeah, then there would be no movie.
Yeah, you're too powerful. Yeah, you can't be in the whole movie.
There would be no story to tell.
You would just whip Thanos.
No
you would just because when we see her fight Thanos at the beginning, it's just like
crashes through his ship.
Yeah,
just
it's like you can't be around.
Yeah, it's like she came in just at the right time.
Hold. It's like a dog on a leash. Hold. Like no. Yeah. So I wish she wasn't in more, but then you can understand why. Because when she comes in, it's like they're like, what are they shooting at? It's her, and she just destroys.
The one thing that I did miss, and I understand this is a long movie, and you just have to kind of get going. But I did miss her entrance into the Avengers. I missed who are you?
They did that misdirect where just the trailer showed us her just popping up. Not the trailer, the thing at the of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Where she just that with the beeper.
Yeah.
That was a complete misdirect.
Yeah.
Or they cut it out of the movie. Because we saw it.
I would have liked to linger on that moment of who are you? What is your...
Well, actually, no. They in the movie is completely different because she saves Tony and she brings the ship in. So that was a complete misdirect.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
Which that's another thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
Was her saving Tony.
Yeah.
It's I'm just happen to be flying by. Oh, look, a ship. Oh, I'll save you.
Yeah, there were a few moments where I felt like it was too how convenient.
That was too convenient for me.
Yeah.
Too convenient.
Yeah.
But
I would agree.
The way the movie can answer it is there's 14 million versions of it. Maybe one version she didn't save him. This version she did. I don't know. But it's just and we talked about that when we saw the first trailer. Who's gonna save Tony? I was like, I don't want it to be her. It's just too convenient. But but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Space is a pretty big place.
Yeah.
Talk about
that's a needle in a haystack. Jinx, you owe me a Coke or something.
Yeah.
Or a bottle of wine. But it's fine. But because there was rumors that Pepper would save him with the rescue suit that she got, which would have been fine. They would have made their own ship and got them. That would have been fine. Yeah. But just her flying by and just oh, hi guys. Are you from Earth? Oh, I'm from Earth. Oh, you need to go back? I'll take you back.
Yeah.
Which is
I guess it's good that they found a reason for her not to be there the whole time though. Because she's sort of dealing with stuff going on in every planet.
Exactly.
Because Earth is going not only Earth is dealing with the aftermath.
And they set that up early, just hey, Earth isn't the only one dealing with the snap.
Yeah.
A lot of other people are dealing with it, so
at
I gotta
least
go
they
deal with that.
explain it.
Oh yeah. So that part I didn't like. Where's Captain Marvel? They explained why she wasn't there.
Yeah.
But just when she got there, she kicked a lot of ass. Yeah, she wrecked a lot of shop and kicked a lot of ass. So I love the fact that she was in there. I'm also I'm kind of glad I got it wrong because considering how little she was in the movie, it'd have been wrong for her to kind of all right, I'm the leader of the Avengers now.
The shot at the end at the funeral, it sort of and like she's sort of standing there, by the front door.
Yeah.
And then we see Nick Fury.
Behind her. Yeah.
So it kind of insinuated that she, is gonna kind of oversee
everything. But I'm just glad it was like, what do we do now, Captain Marvel? Like that.
Yeah, although just to repeat myself one more time, I still just don't quite understand the dynamic that she really has with the Avengers, because we just don't get that scene really. We don't get.
I mean, they just kind of like
that.
All right, you're part of the team.
Come on,
girl.
I don't need to know anything about you. Just.
Yeah, I mean. It'd be one thing if Nick Fury was there to kind of and then you just couldn't assume he fills them in on who she is and
I missed
what she
that
can
scene.
do.
I understand
but the
why
fact
they had
that,
to speed it up, but I missed it.
She just, but how it played out in the movie, not how it played out in her end credit scene. If she saves Tony, they might have had a conversation while she was saving them.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that. As an audience
of course.
Is my point.
Maybe there's a deleted scene.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe,
yeah.
But you're right. I would have liked to have seen that, but because the way the movie plays out, they're just like, "Oh, you saved Tony? You're on board. Come on, let's go fight Thanos."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a little.
Who are you again?
But yeah.
Come on. All right. So the Hulk. So we were right. We were both right. He would live, and I was right in the sense that he would be the Hulk and Banner.
I think I said that too.
I
think we agreed.
We agreed.
I agreed.
So the fact that he figured out how to stay the Hulk and be Bruce at the same time was great. The fact that he was taking selfies with those kids was hilarious, and the thing with Ant-Man was hilarious.
Yeah, it was cute.
I like the fact I wanted to have seen him figure that out. To be honest, I'm okay with not seeing it, but I would have liked to have. He didn't do as much as I would have liked.
Well, he's not filled with rage anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're
when they go back to New York,
and he's like, that was great too.
Yeah.
Because he's under control now. So.
Yeah. So maybe in the future we'll get to see him be like, how do I get back to that strong person that I really was? Like, how do I need that guy back.
Or actually, would have loved to see him fight Thanos again.
Yeah.
He didn't have to beat Thanos, but just, him going toe-to-toe with him again for a little bit would have been nice.
Yeah.
But him figuring out, the time travel thing and all that.
He was pretty much down for the count when he put on the...
Yeah, when he put on the gauntlet, yeah.
And, then his arm...
Pretty much took out his arm. But, he didn't do as much. Which...
He helped with some of the time, tech.
Yeah, he got them along.
The smart people stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that the smart people jargon.
Smart people jargon.
And obviously he put on the gauntlet, which was nice, and talked to
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, yeah. It was nice to see her. Yeah. Nice to see her back.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene was pretty good. Them figuring out her explaining all right, this is how time travel works, sort of.
Yeah.
So that was great. Again, curious to see what happens to him moving forward.
Yeah.
Because now they can do whatever they want with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to be in somebody else's movie again. They still can't make their own.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him kind of team up with Valkyrie.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll be appropriate.
I don't know if she would get her own movie, but just to see her and him team up again in something would be great.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see that, but we don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Hawkeye.
What? I don't remember what I said about him. Did I say he would die?
We both thought he would die.
Okay.
We both thought he would die.
Oh.
I love the fact that the movie opens on him.
Mm-hmm.
And we see the ankle bracelet.
It's like a cold open.
Yeah, so we know exactly this takes place around Infinity War. He's training his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He's on his farm with his kids, living it up. And then they all get dusted.
Yeah, like we suspected.
We said they will all get dusted, and that kind of propels him into being this a Ronin character, which they never use that word. Right. He's still Hawkeye, but he just takes on this blood. He has this blood lust of killing killing all the bad guys.
Yeah.
Which you can understand, because what does he have to live for?
Exactly.
His whole family's gone. The event he just wants to kill people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, gotta
and
take out that rage on somebody.
Exactly, totally right. And so Black Widow gets him back, and then it sets it up where you think like, all right, here's the time for him to sacrifice himself, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And even during the battle, I'm thinking he still might not. Something might happen to him because he's holding that gauntlet. And we know Thanos wants it, and we know they're all after it.
That did make me nervous.
I was still nervous for him a little bit.
The whole trope where both parties are vying for the same object. You
Yeah.
know, like, it's like, oh, I got it. Now you got it. Oh, I got it. Here, pass it off.
Yeah, and then when Nebula is like pointing it at him, like I thought like she was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, like
yeah.
So
there were a lot of close calls.
Yeah, there was a lot of close calls for him. He didn't make it out. He barely made it out of Endgame.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it out.
He did.
So I'm curious to see now, knowing that he's going to get a limited series, is that limited series going to be him training his daughter to be the new Hawkeye, and then him kind of retiring like he always wanted to do? Because he's been trying to retire for a while, and things just keep happening where he doesn't.
Or it's possible that she finds out Let me start over. It's possible that, he doesn't want her to have this life. Like, no,
maybe.
You don't want that. And then she kind of like goes behind his back and is like training. And like that kind of trope would be kind of fun to see.
Maybe. I'm glad to see him back, and I'm hopefully that he's in the Black Widow movie, especially if it's just a prequel, because I want to see what happened in Budapest. This is not the last we see of his character, which I'm glad about. I always liked the Hawkeye character, and I felt like they've never done enough with him. Obviously, in the first Avengers movies, he got short-jobbed. In Avengers: Age of Ultron, they played him a little bit more. So he's only been in the Avengers movies. I'm looking forward to seeing him doing something on his own, and hopefully he's in the Black Widow movie where he gets to do a lot more. But I like the fact that his character was willing to sacrifice, and he was kind of sad that he didn't. And the fact that he got a little bit more to do was nice. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to him doing his own thing. Yeah. And he probably is going to pop up in someone else's movie again. Yeah. Which I'll be looking forward to. Yeah. So that'll be nice. I'm kind of glad we got that right. A lot of people shit on Hawkeye, but I like Hawkeye.
I like his new haircut.
Yeah, his new cut was cool. Like just show cool. Like, hey, I'm edgy. I gotta have an edgy.
I got nothing to lose.
I got an edgy haircut. Yeah. War Machine, we both said would live, and he did.
I guess I didn't really like. It's not a character that I really care too much about personally.
He's there. He serves a role. He's actually there a lot now for support and comedic support. Now he cracks a lot of jokes.
True.
Obviously he was there to more on Tony, like we said.
Right.
Curious to see what happens to him moving forward. I'd like to see his character continue to be in the movies. If it doesn't, obviously I'd be okay. But yeah.
We'll see.
He was okay in the movie. Like cracked a lot of jokes.
Well,
nothing really happened to him that was meaningful, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if he really did anything that really changed the outcome of sort of what we were watching.
He's happy to be there. And happy to see him. And glad he didn't die. Yeah. Nebula. So Nebula
was an important
was way more important than I thought they were going to make her be.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
She's the crust of the movie pretty much about like how Thanos figures out what's going on. Like she's like way more, like obviously she's important, and that we shouldn't be too surprised. In the comics she's important, but that's the comics. Yeah. I didn't think they would make her so pivotal in the movies though. Yes. Especially in this movie. So
my question is, what happened to the two of them by the end of the movie?
That's a very good question.
Because we see the one Nebula, right, with the Asgardians of the Galaxy, but what happened to the other one from the past? Because they didn't go. Did she get dusted?
Well, no, she killed that one.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
She killed the Nebula
you're
from the
right,
past.
Because I remember thinking, like, can you do that?
Yeah, apparently you can.
Okay. All right, never mind. You're right.
I'm not sure where Gamora went.
Right. Well,
did she go back? I guess she went back to her own time.
No. How could you? She doesn't have a time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So she either got dusted, along with everybody else who was on Thanos' squad.
Yeah.
Or I mean, she just went into hiding somewhere because we see Star-Lord searching for her, using a computer to search for her. So that might be what the new Guardians of the Galaxy movies are.
Yeah, them just trying to fill her in and hey, this is what happened.
Or find her.
Yeah, find her,
yeah.
Fill her in.
Yeah. So anyway, Nebula was important, and I liked how they handled that. It's really interesting to confront your old self, and your old self is so different.
Yes.
And thinks a certain way, and can't possibly imagine that you would become a certain person. I think everybody can relate to that.
And also the way that her old self can justify what she's doing. Mm-hmm. Because her old self was there to serve Thanos and try to get his approval. Yeah. That's what her and Gamora were always trying to do. Get Thanos' approval. Mm-hmm. Like that thank you, Daddy, like you did a good job, like getting that thank you that they never got. And you can understand why she would do the things that her past self did. Yeah. And you can understand why they knew Nebula was. I love that she was just kind of like very cold, like her and Tony playing paper football, which hilarious. Like her calling Scott an idiot was hilarious. Just like her portrayal of Nebula was great. Mm-hmm. Both versions were great. Mm-hmm. Her interaction with herself and her interaction with Gamora, the past Gamora, was great. We obviously didn't get the Gamora back that we thought we were going to get. She's gone. Just like Black Widow was gone.
But once again, time travel. So
time travel kind of gives them a door to have Gamora back.
Yeah, and they don't need the stones for time travel. That's the thing. It's like we weren't sure if it was going to be they were going to use the stones or if it was going to be quantum realm. And
we knew the quantum realm was going to play a part. We didn't know it was going to be the thing.
Yeah. So who knows what they're going to do with that?
But anyway. But it just likes to see it was great to see Nebula used in that way.
Yes, and one more thing that I want to mention with what they did with her character, which I actually wish that they did more of, and if we talk about any shortcomings the film has, I can go into detail about this, but what I liked is that they did not anticipate that, like, going back in time.
Yeah.
They did not anticipate that her consciousness would be on the same network.
Yeah.
So, there are these, like, surprises with, you probably can't mess with time travel because this stuff like that will happen. Where it's you can't think of how you. Yeah,
otherwise they would have if you try to go over every little detail, you would never leave because it's like the butterfly effect. If you And
I wish we saw more of that. Like that's the only shortcoming that I feel like the film had is because I love that part of time travel where it's like oops.
Well, they did. There was a lot of oops,
but it didn't actually affect.
Well, we don't
timeline.
We don't know.
True.
We don't know.
But in this one movie, I wanted more of that.
I hear you.
That's what I did like about what happened with
I hear you. Because, obviously, we'll get to Loki in a little bit, but the fact that, you're right, they fix a lot of the oops that happened in the movie.
I wanted more consequences, I guess, for messing with time travel than there were. Everything worked out so nicely, and I just... That's why I liked the Nebula storyline, because I'm like, that's what I want. I want them to mess up and actually have it have big consequences.
Well, yeah, I mean... Thanos coming back was a big...
Probably the biggest one.
Yeah, and obviously it did, them having to deal with him again, and him putting on the gauntlet again, is a big deal from... obviously going back in time. Yeah. And it's something that they wouldn't have foreseen.
Yeah.
Because
and it was a good plot device to use.
Oh yeah, great. Because
smart
at the beginning you think, wow, they killed him.
Yeah.
And what's because it didn't surprise that they killed him at the beginning, but it's just like, all right, now what?
Yeah.
And the way they brought him back was great.
Yeah, I would agree.
So great storytelling and the fact that you were able to bring Thanos back. Mm-hmm. And not only bring him back, but all the guys that he his Dark Order, his buddies back, and the army back was a great tool and a great catalyst through Nebula. Mm-hmm. So I actually loved that.
Yeah, I
loved
agree.
it.
I agree.
We talked about Valkyrie. It was nice to see her again.
My only question is, where does she keep her horse? Is it a stable?
Yeah,
I
a stable.
Just rent it out. Yeah. Okay. Because all right. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Is it the only one left? Are there more?
No, I think they pretty much said she was the last one.
Right,
so maybe that's the last.
Last Pegasus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was a fun little thing to think about.
That
horse lives.
I don't know. Like I said,
it's nice that
in Norway, where the new Asgard is, and Yeah. She's the queen of it now. Curious to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
I love seeing her kick ass. I wish we would have got more of it, to be honest. I can almost bet that's the last time we see her. I hope that's not the last we see of her, but I just love her character. I love Tessa Thompson, so...
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
And, to see her go from this, drunk, what Thor has become.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny swap.
They did yeah.
Which is, I love that.
Where she just gave up on herself, and he gave up on... Yeah. And then her temper was, kicking him, come on, man, just get it together.
Yeah.
They kind of trade places, which was, there's a lot of that in the movie, too.
Yeah. And what I like about her character just existing in general is it's another connection to, Thor's sort of world.
Yeah.
Asgard and, that magical kind of situation. There's just another connection there. It's not just Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And Loki, I guess, who died, but did he? But
maybe
will he
we'll
back?
see.
I don't know.
I mean, Lady Sif is still out there. We don't know 100% about her. I don't know if they're ever going to tug on that again, but time will tell. And M'Baku, we kind of saw, but wasn't really involved. He was at the battle, but Okoye was there. She obviously was dealing with stuff during the 5 years gap.
Also didn't really see too much of that.
Didn't do too. She was at the end battle, of course. Loved her when all the ladies were kicking ass. Mm-hmm. Didn't do too much, but she still survived. It was nice to see her at the end with them in Wakanda again, thriving.
Overlooking.
Overlooking.
Everyone's just oh yay! We're all alive.
We're all back again.
I get my family.
But it's been 5 years. Which
we gotta talk about that at some point.
Let's talk about it now. So it's interesting that the movie let it live, the sense that they failed, they killed Thanos, and they just lived with it for 5 years.
Yeah, I assumed that they were going to go back to that point 5 years prior, and then try again to those 5.
I mean, I think,
years,
but then they kind of said that they can't do that. Mm-hmm. So the idea was just, all right, well, just bring everybody back now. So for some people, it's 5 years. For other people, it's just been the same day. So
well, question,
because when Spider-Man came back, he was just
his whole class got dusted because they're not 5 years older.
That's true. That's true.
And I wonder if they're going to address that in the movie. Because I was confused about. I'm so his whole class was dust, because they made it seem like it was just Peter, but maybe the whole class got dusted.
Well, we don't know. Yeah. We don't know if Ned got dusted or all of his friends.
But if they didn't, they would be 5 years older, right? So they would be in college.
Well. I mean, you're right. Yeah. So, if we look at it from Far From Home, I guess all of his friends did get dusted because they're all still in high school with him.
Exactly.
If they didn't, you're right. They'd be in college, or I mean, I guess you can
they got
justify
held back.
It. Well, yeah, but I mean, how did the government really work?
Or maybe
because Black Widow was saying the governments are having a hard time keeping things together.
Yeah, that's possible. So, the school just ceased to be a thing.
Maybe. I mean, we'll figure that out.
But still, they don't look 5 years older.
Well,
I looked different from when I was,
Well, maybe they just got dusted. We don't know. We'll find out more going forward. But I love the fact that they just had to eat it.
Yeah.
Deal with it for 5 years. And I love Thanos' line is you couldn't live with it.
Yeah.
The fact that you lost.
Yeah.
And where did that leave you?
Yeah.
Coming back to me.
Yeah.
That's the best line that he has, I think, in the entire his character. Is the fact that I won. I'm inevitable. And you couldn't live with. You couldn't deal with the fact. Mm-hmm. You did all of this. Yeah. And you still have to come back. You still have to deal with me.
Yeah.
I love that fact. Yeah. I wasn't expecting them. When they said 5 years later, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just all right, let's bring everybody back to now. Okay.
Well, and so I wonder if in Homecoming we're going to get a sense of
Far
From Home. Yeah. If we're going to get a sense of how they've rebuilt.
Yeah, I mean,
because the whole world is basically in shambles.
Yeah, but
I'll be really disappointed if they just kind of brush that off.
I don't think so.
That
because Kevin Feige said it takes place right after
So it's crazy that they're going to. I don't think I would want to go to Europe when world governments are failing. There's no TSA.
But not everybody's back.
I still feel like that would have made a big impact on everything.
But now having everybody back, they're now probably putting things together. And
thought experiment.
Now it makes more sense that he's like, hey, I'm going on summer vacation. I don't want to be Spider-Man. Tony's gone.
Yeah.
The fact that Happy Hogan says, yeah, you're alone now.
True.
We really know what that means. Mm-hmm. Him wanting to put the suit away, like, hey, man, I just came back. There's no more Tony. Let's put that away. Let me get away from this role.
I liked his
it makes more sense now.
Kill mode.
Automatic
kill mode. It's like, whoa!
Yeah, it was
I
great.
need one of those.
But the idea that the movie just let it live was very bold. I don't think a lot of movies would have done that. I think they would have tried to figure out a way to undo what Thanos did completely.
I agree, but the only reason I'm going to be satisfied, or the only way I'm going to be satisfied, like I just said, is if we still get a sense of the repercussions of those fights.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want us, even though everybody's back now,
yeah.
I still don't want to pretend like nothing ever happened.
No. I mean, they do have to deal with
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping to see.
Yeah, because certain people are 5 years older. Mm-hmm. Like Scott's daughter.
Yeah.
Is like that was a little weird. She seems way older than just 5 years.
How old was she in the last movie?
I mean, they made it
7.
I don't. So well, obviously older than that.
She looked like she was 15.
What in the movie in EndGame?
Yeah.
Okay.
15, 14. So maybe she was 9. Anyway,
I mean,
yeah, I was like, whoa.
I was like, well, she's.
Hey, they grow up so fast.
I guess so. I mean, 5 years is a long time, but also not that long.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, I guess now's a good time to talk about Ant-Man. It was funny how the rat just went over the...
Also convenient.
But I guess the movie can write it off where it's like, hey, in other scenarios, the rat didn't do that. In this scenario, it did. But it was just like, really? Whatever.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where like, guys, it's just lazy writing. Whether or not they're like, oh, could it be another dimension? It's like, it's just lazy writing. It's just kind of like, you really couldn't figure out some other way
of doing it. Like, I would have, even if it's just like his van got in an area where there was some tech and people broke in and then they accidentally knocked it or something, just to have a random rat do it is you're a little lazy. Because you could have done that a number of different ways. Mm-hmm. But I do like the fact that I do like the idea that once he came back, he's scrambling to figure out what the fuck is going on. Like looking to see if his daughter's name is on that list. He found his name on that list, which was weird for him. He's like, wait, I'm right here. So I like that part of it.
Yeah, him just not knowing what's going on with like the Avengers or like anything.
Or his house. Like,
and then when Thor's like drunkenly telling his story and it's just like, yeah, I'm into this story, and everyone else is like, oh God, he's drunk.
Yeah. I love the like we didn't get a lot of when the Wasp and him together, but obviously they're gonna hopefully get a part 3, and then they're gonna have more to do going forward.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Scott did have a fair amount to do. I guess he really was the reason why it was possible to
because he's the one that put the thought in Tony's head about time travel and how to make it work.
Yeah.
And then they tried with him, and then he came back as a little boy and the baby and a little man. That was great too.
I thought it was funny, but like it was so dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
it was so stupid.
Fine. Old man jokes. It was like whatever. It was okay.
Well, I don't know which version of me peed me.
Yeah, old me, young me, or current me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, his character is like that, so it's like okay. I would have liked to have seen him and Wasp a little bit more together. They were a little bit at the end battle scene, but I mean,
there's just so many characters.
Yeah, like it's hard to juggle them all and give them all their due, considering a lot of them have had their own movies.
It's a product. It has to be that way, but it's one of the things that I wish that I had, that I didn't like about the movie. But I mean, there's no other way to do it.
But I mean, the movie had to focus on the original 6, and it did that.
Yes.
So
I get it. I understand why. I just was like, so many characters. Dang it! Like I wanted to be able to like breathe in a few places, you know, with some of the characters, even if they're not the original. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So I'm curious to see now what they're gonna do with the quantum realm now.
Right.
Because now we've established time travel is a thing that they can go back in time.
It also has healing powers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff.
So I'm curious what Scott and the Wasp are going to do, and Hank Pym and Janet, with the quantum realm now. Yeah. So are they going to find something else in there? Is that how they're going to bring the X-Men, the Fantastic Four into the MCU's reality from another dimension? We don't know. I don't know. So like that's a door that is now open that we don't know what's gonna happen, but eventually something will happen with it. We don't know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the end battle scene when everybody came back.
Yeah. That was nice.
That
to see
was
everybody.
Nice. Especially when it looked like Cap was in big trouble.
Yeah, and then you just see trouble. Doctor Strange's little portal thing, and then they all start popping up. That was a really well-crafted moment that I enjoyed. I was like,
just visually,
everybody's back!
It's like, it put the airport... Well, I still like the airport scene better because you can understand what's happening because there's less characters, you can focus more. That whole thing was just like... sensory overload. I'm like, what the...
It seriously was.
What? Oh, that's great. Like, you have to watch it 3 or 4 times
but, like,
to
that's
fully embrace that whole part.
We'll have to talk about it when you see it again. But I just... That's the moment when you know, oh, Thanos is fucked.
Yeah, like,
like that's when you know that they've won. You know, you can just tell. You're just like...
we're gonna be okay. Like, Cap's okay. Like, I was worried about him until that moment. And when that moment, I'm like, alright, whew.
Yeah,
Cap's okay.
And it was nice. He's like,
everybody's coming back.
Save it.
And then, so that visually that was great.
Yeah, all our characters sort of enter all the ones we missed, you know, because they got dusted. They're all back. Yeah. It's nice that the Black Panther came out first and all that. That was pretty badass. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked it. I liked that part a lot.
Great. Yeah. One character we kind of mentioned, but let's talk about him now, is Loki.
Loki. Yeah.
So
he falls into the category of
big what the heck, question mark.
What the heck are they doing with some of this time travel stuff? Yeah. And is it going to come to bite them in the butt in some way?
I think so.
I hope so. Because like I said, that's what I find most fun about time travel movies is like... especially to the past, where it's like, oh, what did you fuck up? So hopefully, I didn't get it in this movie, but hopefully going forward with some, you know, because Loki's getting his spin-off and, you know, all this stuff, and obviously they're going forward with the, you know, just the MCU in general, with the films. Hopefully we'll see some of those consequences, and Loki getting the Tesseract in that one reality is potentially one of them.
Well, and maybe now it brings back the fact that maybe that wasn't Loki that Thanos killed. Mm-hmm. So, because that's now a possibility now. Yes. So maybe he's still alive. Yeah. Because I love because I love the fact that the way we saw a lot of the things that happened in around the original Avengers movies. I love that you can like fill in the gaps a little bit of what happened in and around it, which was I liked. But
I wish that they had an effect like. When I think about Harry Potter 3, Prisoner of Azkaban,
This is my favorite Harry Potter.
Okay, so when they go back in time, you see that they actually are making changes to what happened before. You know what I mean? Like with the stone, they throw the stone, and it's like, oh yeah, that stone hit me in the head. That was me that threw that stone. So I have to throw the stone. Yeah. Like I wish there was more stuff like that would have really tied into all the earlier movies, where it's like. I don't know how they would have done it, but it would have been really impressive, and I was so sad that they didn't do any of that at all.
That would be interesting, but the way they kind of they set up their rules that you don't want to interact with your other self.
I know,
and they kind of had to dance around.
Better.
But I mean, the fact that Tony fighting Cap was great. Yeah. And how did Cap explain that to him? Like, I fought myself. Like,
you thought it was Loki. Probably still think it's Loki.
Oh, he probably thought it was Loki, but
yeah, I don't know. I wanted more tie-ins with the time travel stuff. Like, I don't know. So,
but I like the fact that it didn't answer that. We just see him disappear, and we don't know what happened to him after that.
Yeah, you're right.
And I And I love that.
Everyone laughed in the theater.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, ah.
Because I just, like, when he saw the text, he was like, oh, I'll take that.
And then, whoop.
Bye. And some people go, well, I want to know what happened to him. We don't need to know now. Let it linger. Let it linger.
They can't answer every.
No, and I don't want them to. And
well, especially not in this one movie.
No.
You know.
And we can also talk about it now. There's no end credit scene, which was great. The only movie that didn't have one besides this one was the Incredible Hulk, and this movie doesn't need an end credit scene.
Well, because it's over in a way, you know.
Like, let this movie let it linger in your mind. Let us enjoy what we have and who we have left, and let's let that linger for a bit
instead of thinking so far ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are they really gonna tease anyway? We don't really. That'd be showing their hand. They're not ready to show it. I'm sure if they had their druthers, they wouldn't have Homecoming come out so soon after Endgame anyway. But they have to deal with Sony, so it is what it is. But the fact that they're just letting this movie linger, let Far From Home have an end credit scene teasing something else, which it probably will. And then after that, then we get to find out what their plans are going forward. Let them do it that way. But I like the fact that Endgame just let us enjoy Endgame and let's enjoy what we just saw.
That's the sound effect of Iron Man making
like,
his
bang.
suit,
Yeah.
which wraps it all up. Really
it ties it up, and then you could even say, hey, maybe that's a future character. If you want to look at it this way, and maybe that's another character making an Iron Man suit, like his daughter or that kid. Have at it. I don't think so. That was just a way of them tying it together.
Yeah.
Iron Man was the first movie.
This
is kind of
nostalgic.
I mean, even though Endgame is not the end of Phase 3, Far From Home is, it technically is the end of Phase 3 because now this movie,
at least as a collaboration between all these different characters. Yeah.
So I mean, it is a nice way of bookending it for me. So. I don't know if there's anything else you need to talk about.
I don't know. I mean, I think I expressed all the shortcomings that I feel that it had. So many characters, which is inevitable. You can't do anything about that. But I still felt a little meh. Obviously, some really fun, crazy stuff that they could have done with the time travel, where it could have the last 10 years could have we really could have done some fun stuff with that.
But I do like that they went back.
But it still left me feeling like. Oh, okay. So they went back and they did the thing okay. Yeah, I wish there were more consequences for the time travel.
That's fair.
So I think I've expressed all of the things that I didn't really like about it, but for the most part, it was, fun to watch, and there was a lot that I did get that I liked, where everybody came back, and, yeah.
I mean, I really liked it too. I mean, it's not as... it does have its problems.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, it doesn't hit you in the same way.
No. Even Tony dying
felt like, oh yeah.
It felt like the audience was ready for it.
Yeah.
Even though it was sad.
Yeah.
It felt like we were all like, oh yeah, this is gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
Even though there was a lot of sniffles and there wasn't people oh, no, oh my, during Infinity War, I was like, no, because when Tony got stabbed by Thanos in Infinity War, that was oh my god, Tony might die. Yeah. This time it's oh, Tony died. Yeah. There's a difference. There's a different feel to it. Yeah. And then when we saw everybody get dusted, even in my mind, it's there's gonna be a way to get them back. Even in my mind, it's I wasn't in the field position, but it was ooh, So Infinity War, I mean, just has a more that feeling of when you see it the first time. It's oh my god. Like I said, it just felt like a season finale, and this just felt like a season premiere. Yeah. Which is no fault of Endgame, but that's just how it made me feel. Let's rate it and then call it a day.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, before you rate it, let's rank the four Avengers movies. What's your favorite out of the four?
Infinity War.
Infinity War?
Yeah. Like you were saying, just that that feeling of I need to know. I haven't felt that way really about, because I'm not a huge MCU fan, but that was the one that was just oh yeah, that was good.
I mean, least favorite?
I mean, it was so long ago that I saw the first couple that I don't even remember them anymore. I feel like I was half asleep for Age of Ultron, so...
Well, that's my least favorite.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
And it's hard because the original Avengers movie, it holds such a special place for me.
Fair.
Because I can't remember the last movie before seeing that where I literally left with a big ass like almost a Joker grin on my face of like enjoyment of in the theater. But Infinity War, like I said, it just hits in such a place that it's hard for me to explain it in a different way. So for me, the original Avengers and Infinity War are like 1 and 1A.
Okay.
And Endgame is like not that far 2.
Yeah.
Or 1C. But Age of Ultron is definitely out of the 4 the least. But enough of that. Let's rank Endgame.
Okay. Out of how many Infinity Stones?
Yeah, Infinity Stones.
Okay, I give it, I'm gonna go with a 6.75.
Ooh.
I know I'm harsh, but I feel like it needed to do more for me, and it didn't. I think maybe my opinion of it will change once we sort of see how things go forward. But just coming out of it, the first screening, and once again, I only saw it once.
Yeah, I was about to say,
so just like the first screening, like I think I was just expecting so much because of Infinity War that I was a little disappointed in a lot of ways.
You think if you see it again, you might...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or I'll get even more pissed off with the time travel problems.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
Or maybe it might flow better for you.
Yeah, or maybe I won't care as much. I don't know. But just initial viewing, 6.75 Infinity Stones. Because I feel like 7 and above is reserved for like, this feeling, and I kind of didn't feel this. I was close. In a lot of moments. Yeah. But as an overall movie, not quite.
I mean, I got this, but, I mean, like, Infinity War was like, yeah, man. It's like, I have to go off screen here. But, I mean, for this, I'm here. So, I mean, if I remember right, I gave Infinity War like a 9 or 9.5. I'm going to have to give this like an 8.5. Like, it was very, very good. I really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, it has its issues, but I think the movie, if you want to, be an apologist, can every thing you can say is wrong, the movie can try to justify it in a way. Well, that's debatable. But I enjoyed it. I just don't think it will, like I said, time will tell us what effect it really has going in the MCU moving forward. Yeah. And I think it will have a lasting effect, obviously, with time travel, and obviously people died.
And in terms of box office.
Yeah,
obviously there's
that too.
That'll be a stamp on the...
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't know if... Well, we'll see. But it's going to do very, very well. It might beat Avatar. Actually, I'm going to say it does. Considering how well it's being received. Yeah. So it's like 96% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. But it's not going to hit as hard for me. And maybe I just need to watch it again. Yeah. But I don't know. But after seeing Infinity War the first time, it was just like, wow. Like there was no one in the fetal position in after Endgame. Exactly. Because I
think that did affect my opinion of the movie. Like I kind of wanted that like really intense like theater experience, and it didn't feel intense. It was very quiet.
Well, because I think because Endgame, the way it ended, you didn't know how it was gonna end. Like if it was gonna end the way it did, and once we didn't know, what the hell are they gonna do? Well, they lost. Thanos won. It's not. You don't see a lot of movies where the bad guy literally says, "I'm gonna do A, B, and C," and does A, B, and C, and then that's the end of the movie. It's like that doesn't happen a lot. So if you look at Infinity War by itself, it's a very special movie. Mm-hmm. In that sense alone. When you look at Endgame, it does answer a lot of those questions, but it ends like a movie traditionally will end. You have a bad guy, he wants a thing, he does a thing, and they defeat him and then move on. Some people have to die. It doesn't end the same way or has that.
Yeah, I guess I was expecting to be like surprised by something. maybe that's part of it too, where I wanted them to like really subvert my expectations in terms of like, oh no, they didn't, like Game of Thrones does sometimes. Yeah. Where it's like, you know.
And maybe because a lot of stuff we kind of thought was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So just like
there's a lot of factors.
Oh
why
yeah. Because going into Infinity War, I was just like, I don't know what. Like I didn't want to know what's gonna happen. I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because he did such a great job, and he done a great job in this of like keeping a lot of stuff a secret.
Yeah.
So I had no idea, and I think just the idea that you're more prepared for something bad to happen this time around than Infinity War. I think people were not ready to see Spider-Man dusted or Black Panther get dusted, considering they just saw Black Panther earlier that year. Like, oh my God, he's gone? I just love that guy. I just met him. So I think there's a lot of that element. There's a lot of like
a lot of factors,
circumstances that make Infinity War very, very special.
Yes.
And Endgame just kind of feeds off that, but it's just not as special in that sense. The circumstances aren't the same. But if you look at it as one big movie, it's a great like 5-hour experience. I would actually like to do that once. Is just literally watch Infinity War and then Endgame back to back and see how I enjoy that. I love to see it in the theater. Disney, make that happen.
I'm sure that at some point.
At some point that's gonna happen, and I want to do that. But that's our thoughts. Hope you've enjoyed our discussion. I know one person in London who has definitely watched till the end, so hi to you.
Shitty-o.
Drinking some tea and crumpets? I don't know. What do you guys think about our Endgame? Did you love it? Are you going to go see it again? What are your thoughts? Let's break it down. Let's bring the conversation in the comments below.
I want to talk more about time travel because it is such an interesting like plot device to me, and I've actually studied it quite extensively. And I really want to talk about that. So if you guys have any thoughts about like the time travel stuff,
about with Cap, or how did you react when you saw Tony die? What do you think about Thor? What do you think about the Guardians going forward? What do you think about Hulk? What do you think about all the characters? Hawkeye? What are your thoughts in general? Let's start the conversation. Also remember to like, subscribe, share, do all those great things. Make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when we do our next videos. But until next time, and there will be a next time.
Yes.
I'm Sean.
I'm Alex.
Avengers Assemble.